3, 2, 1, 0.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the Whatever I Find Entertaining podcast with your host, deethezo. I am super happy to be here. I'm super happy that y'all are here. We got a packed show for y'all today. We got a very packed show, and I'm not gonna BS y'all today. We're just gonna get right into it. We got to talk about King Kong versus Godzilla. We got to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, of course. We're going to talk about the Rick and Morty season 5 that's coming up. We're going to talk about the Justice League, the new Suicide Squad. It's not Suicide Squad, it's the Suicide Squad. They got a couple trailers out. We're going to talk about that. But first, before I get into anything, I want to say, how y'all doing today? I hope y'all are happy. I hope y'all being healthy. I hope this corona thing ain't hit y'all too hard and you able to at least live some semblance of normalcy. I hope it's going good for y'all out there. And I just want to say thank you for spending this amount of time that you're going to spend with me today with me. Because you could have been anywhere, but you decided to be here. And that's out the way. I want to give, how do I say this? I got a special announcement I want to make right here on the podcast. This is an exclusive announcement for all my podcast listeners. Is I'm going to hopefully start next week. I can't promise it's next week, but if it's not next week, it's the week after. But hopefully, next week, I can start uploading 2 podcasts a week. On Saturdays, you're going to get this. You're going to get your normal podcast. Maybe I'll have a guest or 2 on. Oh, yeah. I want to get that across, too. I know last week I promised I was going to have a guest this episode, but things didn't work out like I wanted them to, so that's not going to happen. But I will in the future start having guests, maybe like 1 or 2 guests on my Saturday episodes. But earlier on in the week, I'm going to be doing like kind of a podcast. It's going to be like a bonus episode, just to wet your beak before the Saturday episode, but it's going to be a bonus episode. It's going to be kind of like a game show where I'm hosting and I'm going to have people on and I'm going to be asking them questions. They're going to be competing, that whole type of thing. I'm still working on that. Hopefully I can get it up running next week. Can't promise anything, but not next week. When I say next week, I mean, hopefully I can record it next week. Then a week after I can have it to you. It'll probably be like Wednesday, somewhere in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe. But yeah, hopefully I can get that done. I just wanted to let y'all know that. On other notes, like I said, we got a decent amount of stuff to talk to. You know, normally I can ramble on about nothing for an extended amount of time. So I'm really finna do some rambling today. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Okay. First, let's talk about the season 5 of Rick and Morty trailer. Now, super excited for this shit. I feel like it's been somewhere around 1,000 years since I watched the season finale for season 4. Man, it feels like forever. But finally, we got season 5, and it looks great. It looks crazy. It looks random. It looks everything you want Rick and Morty to be. I can't wait. It's like, when I think about it, Rick and Morty, as far as cartoons that are clearly aimed at adults or clearly not for kids, this may be the best adult-aimed cartoon I've ever. I'm trying to think of all the cartoons I've watched. When you think about stuff like Family Guy and The Simpsons and Futurama, I don't know. I mean, I love The Simpsons. Is my favorite cartoon of all time, but I don't really have, and it's weird. I forgot to mention South Park. I don't know. Maybe South Park. Maybe South Park edges it a little bit because South Park has been doing this way longer. But goddamn. Like Simpsons is my favorite cartoon of all time, but I don't really feel the need or the urge to rewatch anything from Simpsons. Like, I don't know, I guess I just put it up there in the top spot and then I just left it there because, like, I've watched Futurama over from the beginning to the end, like, at least 3 or 4 times. And I just finished catching up on South Park like a few months ago. Like I'm all caught up now, but that took a while because I took a huge break from it. But yeah, I'm all caught up now. I just watched the. I should have talked about that. I didn't talk about it. The South Park vaccination special, which was hilarious. But it's to be a South Park has remained as funny as it's ever been. But we're not going to talk about South Park. We're going to talk about Rick and Morty. And I don't know. Yeah, I just don't. I'm probably going to rewatch the entire first 4 seasons before 5th season comes out because it don't cost me nothing but my time. So yeah, I just don't really feel the need to rewatch. I mean, because I've never been a huge Family Guy fan, and I just don't feel the need to rewatch South Park. I'm not South Park. I mean, I probably wouldn't rewatch South Park either. That's because there's a shit ton of South Park, and a lot of it's high quality, but it's a lot. Was it like 4? No, I think it had like 20 seasons now. I don't even know. It's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, I'm super excited for this Rick and Morty season 5, man. It feels like it's been forever. And I mean, I know it's probably. I thought it was probably supposed to come out last year, but I think it got delayed because of the COVID stuff. Understandable. Not knocking them. I'd rather wait for something to be good than rush something that's bad. Like, there's too much stuff going on in the world for you to be waiting for one thing to come out. Like, whether it be a movie, a video game, a artist dropping an album, whatever it may be, bro. There's too many things going on in the world for you to be waiting on one thing to drop. Like, you'll end up getting you another Cyberpunk, and nobody wants that shit. I mean, I didn't even want Cyberpunk in the first place, but that I don't care. Yeah. Season 5 is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be amazing. It's probably gonna be the best season so far. That's what I'm predicting. But next is the Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, because the original movie that everybody hated, except me, I liked it, and I'm like the only person in the world that liked the movie. I don't know why. I mean, I know it's bad, but I still enjoyed it. They did something. They did really good at some things. I mean, was the characters undeveloped? Hell yeah. Was the villain of the movie just some random thing doing some random thing? Hell yeah. Were they fighting just faceless nothing enemies throughout the movie? Hell yeah. Like, there was a lot bad in that movie, but there was some good, and I enjoyed the good. I enjoyed the good enough to where I could watch the movie again with all the bad stuff in it. It wouldn't bother me that much to watch the movie again. I'm fine with it. But and we not already talk about that. We already talk about the new, the Suicide Squad, because the original was just called Suicide Squad. This was called the Suicide Squad, and a new trailer came out. I mean, they've been dropping like 2 or 3 trailers for the past week, and the newest one came out like a couple days ago, and I mean, they keep winning me over. Like, I don't got no problem with it. I've been in support of the whole thing. It's so weird. I feel like they're taking the subject matter more seriously by being less serious, if that makes any sense. It's like, this definitely seems more sillier than the original Suicide Squad, but I feel like it's supposed to be. I feel like the original Suicide Squad movie took it way too seriously, bro. And that was one of its downfalls. But I feel like that's just DC's thing, just taking their things so serious. Like there's no time for joking. There's no room for color. There's no upbeat. Like, no, everything's got to be gray, and it's got to be depressing, and everybody's got to be angry. So, I don't know. Hopefully, because I don't know, I don't know where this movie. I don't know if DC's still trying to do a connected universe thing or not, and I don't know if this is going to be a part of a thing. But if it is, then hopefully they stop with their interfering so much, because I don't know if it's WB or I don't know if it's DC themselves that just interfere with the process of the movie being made, and that's how you get things like Batman versus Superman and the original Suicide Squad and the original Justice League, where it's just like, God, this sucks. Because I just think they interfere too much. Whoever it may be, there's somebody interfering. I don't know if it's the execs at Warner Brother or the execs at DC, but somebody be interfering, somebody be fucking shit up. But anyway, we're here to talk about the new. I keep calling it the new, just the new Suicide Squad. We're here to talk about the Suicide Squad. It looks dope. To be honest with you, I'm really clinging to John Cena's character, and I don't know why. He's just every scene he's had in the trailers, he's just said some really wacky, just like dead, like he's delivering it dead serious, but it's funny as hell. I can already tell he's doing a great job with that character. He's kind of giving me Batista as Drax vibes, in a sense of when you see this person playing this character, and you just go, oh, he's probably gonna be the worst part of that movie. But then you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like Drax is probably one of the best parts of the movie. He's definitely one of the funniest Guardians. Like he really is. And it's like I don't know why he just is. Everything he says, he never cracks a joke ever, but everything he says is hilarious. And I guess it makes sense that this is being directed by the same person that directed the Guardians movies. Um, I can't remember his name. I almost said Zack Snyder. I can't remember the name right now. But is been it's the same guy. I almost said James Gunn. His name's James Gunn. I almost said Jason Gunn. But yeah, he's the same guy who did both. So I guess it makes sense. They got kind of the same vibe. But it's like, cool. I get it. Like I said, I'm one of the only people in the world that like the original Suicide Squad, but I'm not opposed to doing it better. Like it's not like the original Suicide Squad it was perfect and it had no flaws. It had hella flaws. It definitely had more flaws than good things going on. So why not take another swing at it? It's a dope concept in the comic books, having a Suicide Squad. So here's hoping this one turns out even better. I think that's it. I think now I got the new game show out the way. We talked about Rick. We talked about Suicide Squad. I guess now we can get into Kong versus Zilla. Right after these messages. All right, y'all. Welcome back. And now it's time to talk about Kong versus Zilla. I think it's called Godzilla versus King Kong, but I like Kong versus Zilla better. First thing I'll say right off the top, it's hard to explain how I felt about this movie because it was what I expected, and whenever a movie meets your expectations, it's hard to take when it like perfectly meets them. It's like I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing because I didn't have expectations going. I didn't think it was going to be good or bad. I didn't expect anything. So when when I said I didn't expect anything, what I meant was I didn't expect to be blown away and I didn't expect to be disappointed. It it did what I thought it would do. It was the movie it should have been, I guess. So it's hard to tell. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, so what was it good or was it bad?" To me, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I've watched it twice now, and I definitely enjoyed it. I would watch it a third time. I'm probably not by myself, but if somebody else hadn't seen it, I'd watch it again with them. But I don't know. It was what I expected, and that sounds negative, but I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in I guess I don't mean that in a positive way either. I don't know how I really mean that. It's just it didn't blow me away, but it didn't disappoint me. So it was like if I could give this a grade, it was a B, I guess. It was maybe a strong C or weak B, maybe. But I feel like if I was invested in any one of these characters, then it was probably a much better movie. I'm not really a monster movie guy. So I could care less about King Kong or Godzilla, to be honest with you. So I guess I'm not I guess like I wish I can give you a better explanation. Well, because I feel like a deep diver. I feel like I can deep dive more into what I mean if I actually knew. But I don't know. Let's just get into the movie. It's one thing I will tell you is this is like the fourth movie in this connected universe, and I've only seen one other one besides this. So I'm missing two movies. So some of the things were kind of confusing to me, but I can't take away from the movie because that's me. I didn't see the two preceding this. There was one Godzilla. It was called Godzilla, and it came out in 2014. I saw that one. And funny thing about that one is it had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in it. But this movie they were playing a couple instead of brother and sister. So think about that the next time you watch the original one in 2020, I almost said 2024, in 2014. Just think about that. I don't know. I don't remember when Ultron came out. I feel like Ultron, because I think of, no, well, I'm not about to go into that. But, yeah, it also had Zordon from the live action movie that came out kind of recently, but it's being rebooted already. But yeah, it had him in there too. One of the strange things I noticed about at least Kong versus Zilla is that the cast of these movies seem to be widely different. Because, like I said, there was Godzilla in 2014, and then 2017 there was King Kong Skull Island. And then in 2019, there was Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, I didn't see Kong. I seen a little bit of Kong Island. I said Kong Island, Skull Island. I seen a little bit of Skull Island, and I haven't seen any of King of the Monsters. I don't know what's in that movie. And I'm pretty sure Godzilla took out a bunch of his own villains. So, yeah, I guess. But I looked at the cast for these movies, and they're just so drastically different. Like, I get the Godzilla movies would have a different cast than the King Kong movies, but like, I feel like the Godzilla movie had a different cast than the Godzilla King of the Monsters movie. Like, their cast was totally different. Like, it's like, did everybody die in these? Because and then the people that were in King of the Monsters, it was only like two of the people that was in that movie in Kong versus Zilla. So it's I, I don't know. The cast seems so different. And then I looked at the cast for Skull Island. It's like I didn't see it. So like, did everybody die in that movie or something? Because there's barely anybody that was in that movie in this movie. Because that movie had like Kong had like Kong Skull Island. It had like Loki and Captain Marvel in there. And somebody else in there too. I don't remember who, but it was somebody else in that movie. And it's like, did they all die or something? Like, I don't get it. It had that's what it had. It had Loki, it had Captain Marvel, and it had Nick Fury in there. All in King Kong Skull Island. So like, did they all die in that movie or something? Because like, none of them are here. And I only think they get mentioned, but I wouldn't know if they got mentioned in. I think the only crossover characters for all these is just random doctors that you probably wouldn't even recognize anyway. Because the dude who's like I don't want to call him the main villain, but I guess the guy who's like the head of the corporation, he hasn't been in any of the movies. So, and I don't think his sidekick has got like an Asian dude for a sidekick. I don't think he's been in any of the movies. So it's like, what's with these casting, bro? Why y'all cast not translating over? Y'all got like a connected universe where there's barely any connecting characters. But I'm not here to shit on that. Because like I said, I've only seen two out of the four. So I'm not here to bag on that. I will say this. Full spoiler alerts. We finna get. I ain't put a spoiler warning yet, but spoiler warning here now. We're about to get into. I'm about to spoil Godzilla versus King Kong for you right here, right now. So if you need some time to go watch the movie, this is a great time to pause it and go watch and then come back, or just get spoiled. It's whatever. I mean, I'm probably gonna wrap up the movie as best as anybody in the world could do it. So spoiler warning. And let's go. I will say, when this movie first came out, when I first heard about it anyway, I assumed it was going to be like a Batman versus Superman thing. And hold on, before you stop the podcast or cut me off and unsubscribe, calm down. By that I meant that the movie was going to make you believe that the ultimate battle was going to be between these two main characters. And in the end, they were going to come together to fight something bigger, like they did in Batman vs. Superman with Doomsday. And I figured this movie was going to do that too, and it did. So I guess that's what I mean by it just met expectations. I didn't know who they were going to fight because, like I said, I don't know all the monsters that King Kong and Godzilla fight throughout their many movies that they've been making for longer than I've been alive. But yes, but it just kind of happened that way. So the crux of the movie is that, and I think this has been a running thing throughout the movies, but once again, I've only seen 2 out of the 4, so I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But the crux of the movie is that there's something called Hollow Earth, which is like a dimension inside Earth where the Titans come from, and Godzilla and King Kong are considered Titans. They're considered like ancestors of this race that has been battling for ages and ages and ages. And they all come from this hollow Earth, which is a dimension inside the core of the planet. That's about the gist of it I got. And so the movie is like, hey, for some reason, at least the characters in the movie believes Godzilla wants to kill King Kong. So they're like, hey, if we can get King Kong to this, if we can get King Kong to this hollow Earth, then Godzilla stop tripping. Because I guess Godzilla's angry because there's another Titan walking around. I guess I don't know. So they're like, yeah, we can get him to this hollow Earth, man. We'd be good. We'd be straight, man. But of course, as soon as they start moving him, Godzilla shows up and he's like, hey, I fight. But it's so weird. But once again, I want to put the fact that I haven't seen the other. So if I'm missing something, let me know. Let me know. Hit me up. You already know my social medias. On Twitter, on Instagram, is deethezo the Great. Feel free to hit me up there and say, bro, you missed out this, or you missed on this point, or maybe I need to go watch the other movies to understand it. But Godzilla shows up, and it's like in the trailer when you see him fighting on the boats. It's just like that. They show up, they had a fight on a boat, and Godzilla pretty much wins. But it's Godzilla. Of course he's going to win. But then he just like, they do this thing, right, where King Kong's knocked out. He's like, I can't fight no more, bro. I tried. And they're like, all right, turn the engines off on the boat. We want Godzilla to think everybody's dead, and we want him to think he won. And so they turn off all the engines on the boats, and they're just dead in the water. And Godzilla's like, all right, cool. And he leaves. So I'm like, did Godzilla just show up to kick King Kong's ass and then leave? Is that the only motivation here? I don't know. But there's also a subplot about Godzilla where the movie starts off with him attacking this base somewhere off the coast of Florida. He attacks his base. And they're like, oh man, Godzilla's evil now. Because I guess he's been a hero in his movies. Godzilla's evil now? That's crazy. I can't believe Godzilla would do us like this. And some characters, some of the characters are like, no, he's attacking that base for a reason, man. There's something there that's not good. That's why he's attacking that base. And the other characters like, no, man, he's just an big ass evil lizard, bro. That's why he attacking, because that's what evil lizards do when they gigantic. I don't know. Anyway. So that's part of the movie. Like, they're painting Godzilla to be this evil thing that needs to be stopped. And like some random group of people is like, man, we should get King Kong. He'll defend us from Godzilla. So that's why they went to go get King Kong in the first place, to bring him to this hollow Earth thing. So I don't know. I think it's very obvious to me, from a guy who only seen one other movie. It's like, Godzilla can pop up anywhere he wants in the world. He can swim through the ocean like it's nothing. He can pop up anywhere and attack any city in the entire globe he wants. But he attacked this company that's on the coast of Florida. He can attack some super populated area like New York or California or Paris or somewhere in Germany or like Japan or so, like, he can attack anywhere he wants. Why did he pick this company? Like, there's like, come on now, it's got to be deeper than that. Most people are like, oh, he's a villain now. I can't believe he's a villain. It's like, it's got to be deeper than that. But I mean, it's whatever. I'm not here to. One thing that does piss me off though is, and this movie did it, but this movie is most certainly not responsible for it. It's not like known for it. Like, this has been happening in all of fiction since fiction been fiction. Now, I'm talking movies, comic books, cartoons, video games, whatever. It's when one character says to another character something, and then the other character's like, man, that's crazy. I don't believe that. And it's like, Bro, we live in a world where Godzilla and King Kong are both documented existing species on this earth. How the fuck can anything be crazy now? How can you perceive anything to be crazy? Like when you honestly think about it, like what do you even how does your mind go, there are still some things that are too crazy to believe? Like Marvel does that all the time. There'll be a character saying something and they'll be like, man, I don't believe you. That's crazy. I don't believe in magicians. That's crazy. People can use magic. That's wild. I don't believe. And it's like, bruh, a purple alien came down to the planet and used a magic glove to snap us out of existence. There's nothing there's nothing outside the realm of belief now. Like everything is believable. You could tell me that there's shadow people walking around trying to slit our throats, and I'm gonna believe you. Like there's nothing not possible. We've seen humans fly. We've seen magic being used. We've seen time being controlled. Like what kind of non-believing, like what kind of just against the world type of guy can see this and go, nah, that's crazy. I don't believe it. It's like it's like Tyrese in the Fast and the Furious movies. They always tell him some crazy idea, and he's always like, "Nah, that plan is too crazy to do." And then the very next scene is him doing the crazy plan. It's like, bro, you've been doing this for like 8 years now, bro. Like, how can plans be too crazy for you to jump on board at this point? But and I hate that. I hate that in any type of fiction, bro. This movie's not responsible for it by any means, bro. It's definitely been doing a long time before this movie. It's just, God, I hate that shit so much, bro. It really pisses me off. Another thing that got me in this movie is that I'm gonna jump a little ahead now. So the main villain of the movie turns out to be Mechagodzilla, which I didn't see coming. I will say that. But what kind of annoyed me is the first time you see Mechagodzilla in the movie, this kid calls it somebody calls it, oh my god, it's a robot Godzilla. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I would expect them to say, robot Godzilla. But then this kid is like, no, that's Mechagodzilla. I'm like, how the fuck would you know who Mechagodzilla is? Like, Mechagodzilla don't exist in your world. That's something. Like, why would you come up with that name? That doesn't like that we know him as Mechagodzilla, but we're people watching a movie in a universe where a robotic Godzilla is an existing thing. You've never seen something like this before as a character in this movie. So what would make you say Mechagodzilla? That was super. That was super. Like, cause even the person that created the dude I was contemplating on calling him the main villain or not, he didn't even call it Mechagodzilla. I forgot what he called it. He just called it some experiment name. But yeah, that really, I don't know, for some reason that really got to me. I guess we can just get to I guess we could at this point. I mean, because the movie consists of them trying to get King Kong to the Hollow Earth because I don't know, the Hollow Earth is like the safe, like that's what we need to get to. The rich dude who was controlling Mechagodzilla, he wanted to get there because for some reason there was a power there that can help him power Mechagodzilla. So that's why he wanted to get there. The other people wanted to get there because they knew that'd be a safe place for King Kong. So eventually they do get there. There's supposed to be it's supposed to be dangerous and hard to get to because there's supposed to be some kind of inverted gravity, which I don't know if that means like gravity flows in the opposite direction or if that means like, okay, heavy things are now light and light things are now heavy. I don't know. They probably explained it in some science stuff in the movie and it just went over my head, which is fine. I'm used to things going over my head. I'm not a very smart person. But yeah, that was pretty much the movie. They fought on the Godzilla and King Kong fought on the boats. There was stuff about humans doing human stuff throughout the movie. But then you get to pretty much the final scene, I guess. And oh no, there was another thing that bothered me throughout the movie. Now clearly, there's this little kid who's deaf, and she can't speak. She has this connection with King Kong. You see that at the very beginning of the movie. You see, there's just something special about like the kid in Kong. And then later on, one of the characters explains that yeah, she was like the last person on the island when a storm came through and killed everybody on the island. So King Kong said he was gonna protect her. Cool, that's enough for me. That's good enough for me. Excuse me. That's good enough for me. But what I don't get is the people who don't realize. Like I got it right away. The people in the movie who don't realize, yeah, this little girl has some kind of special connection with King Kong. Like, there's a point where it's like super raining, like it's raining hella hard, and Kong is just sitting on his boat, just like tied to the boat. Like, man, this some bullshit. Y'all gonna lock me up again, bro? This some bullshit. And he's about to like wild out, bro. He look like he's about to destroy some shit. And the little girl goes out there and she calms him down by touching him. But then like the doctor who's like her guardian, is like she's like super worried, and she's like, "No, don't do that. It's too dangerous for you to be out here." And I'm like, "But you don't." She just clearly you just watched her calm him down. Clearly, it's not too dangerous for her to be out here. And then she was like, What are you doing out here?" And the girl's sign language is to her. He's like, he's sad and he's upset. Like he's not dangerous. He's shackled. Like he's not happy about that situation. Who would be? And so she's like, well, how'd you know that? And it's like, she was, it's just like, clearly the kid can communicate with the animal. Like clearly. That's been established at the beginning of the movie. But then King Kong like does the sign language for home. And then the doctor was like, "Oh, he can do sign language? We didn't know that." And I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool that the King Kong learned sign language. That was a pretty awesome thing. But I'm just like, I couldn't figure out that there was some way that she was communicating. I don't know. That kind of bothered me because like the guardian of the little girl was like worried about the kid when you yourself said that King Kong was destined to protect. Well, not destined. He vowed to protect the little girl. So why are you worried about the monkey hurting the girl now? That was, I don't know. That was kind of numb. But anyway, they get King Kong. Eventually, a movie goes by. They get King Kong to the Hollow Earth, and I mean, he's just like, there's monsters there. Like they're not Godzilla or King Kong size, but they're monsters there. And then like war breaks out and yada yada yada. Then King Kong, I guess, Godzilla can kind of sense that King Kong is in Hollow Earth, so he does like his blue nuclear blast thing, and it shoots directly through the Earth, all the way down to Hollow Earth. Not sure how that happened. Don't ask me. But then King Kong's like, "Oh shit, like you trying to fight again? You want round two, little nigga?" And so King Kong gets his axe, his really cool looking axe, and he goes up there or goes down there. I'm not sure. He goes through the tunnel that the breath attack made, and he gets up there and he starts fighting King Kong. And honestly, it went like it was supposed to. King Kong got his ass whipped. And this is not me being a huge Godzilla fan and shitting on King Kong. But to be honest with you, if you know anything about these two, you would know that fucking there's no way. I mean, even with the size decrease they gave Godzilla or increase they gave to King Kong, I don't know. I just feel like Godzilla's supposed to be towering over King Kong. But even with the size fluctuation they have in this one, you could still see that like Godzilla is just he's too much for King Kong. He's a giant nuclear lizard, bro. Even at his best, King Kong's just a giant ape. Like at his best, he's a giant ape. But they did do a good job of I guess showing how like King Kong has some level of intelligence to him. I don't know what level, but he has some level of intelligence to him. With the things he was doing in the fight and knowing the sign language, it was pretty cool. It was great. One thing I have to get out the way though, I should have said this at the beginning. Both King Kong and Godzilla looked great as far as graphics wise, as far as special effects. They looked phenomenal. They did a dope ass, amazing ass job. I cannot fake it on that. What else? Yeah, that looked great. But they had a fight scene. They had a dope fight scene. Godzilla kind of beat the shit out of them. I mean, they was getting their licks in, but in the end, Godzilla won. Of course he did. But while this was happening, the guy considered the main villain of the movie, I guess, him and his Asian sidekick. And I say Asian sidekick because, I mean, the character didn't. I mean, he was definitely of Asian descent, but he barely said anything the whole movie. He was just like next to the main guy. I don't, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, he connects to some kind of virtual suit, and that would allow him to control Mechagodzilla remotely. It was kind of like in Pacific Rim, how they can get into these things. Well, no, they were actually in the suits though, weren't they? In Pacific Rim, I think they were actually in the suits. I don't remember. It's been a while since I say Pacific Rim, but anyway, they were remote. No, I don't remember. Anyway, these dudes were remotely. This guy was remotely controlling Mechagodzilla. So then he started beating the living, because King Kong was down at this point. Godzilla had put him down, and this is another weird thing. Godzilla beat him. He had his foot on his throat, and then they yelled at each other. And then Godzilla was like, "All right, little nigga," and he kind of walked off. And it was like, was Godzilla just here to show he can beat King Kong up? Was that the point? Like what? Because he had several times he could have killed him. I mean, at one point they were both underwater, and I'm pretty sure King Kong can't breathe underwater. He could have just drowned him. He could have just grabbed him, swam low, and drowned him. But I don't know. I just feel like Godzilla was only here just to beat up King Kong, or to show he could beat up King Kong if he needed to. Yeah. But yeah, that was it for that, I guess. He had his foot on his throat. He was about to off him, but then he let him up. He got up and he let him up, and then that's when Mechagodzilla shows up, and he starts beating the shit out of regular Godzilla. Like he's just like, I don't know why, because it's a dude controlling him remotely. He's just beating the shit. I mean, he's supposed to be Godzilla, but better in every way. So he was like, it was funny. Like there was times when he was just like taking his head and ramming them into buildings. He was stumping them on the ground. It was kind of funny how badly he was beating the shit out of Godzilla. It really, truly was. But then three characters that I just barely mentioned to this point because honestly they didn't have a whole lot to do with the plot of the movie. There was three characters. There was I want to say Brian Henry, the guy from he was I know him from Atlanta. He's done a bunch of stuff, but I know him from Atlanta. He was Paperboy in Atlanta. He was like a conspiracy theorist that worked for the company that the rich guy who built Mechagodzilla owned, and there was two little kids with him. That was like it's weird the stars they brought together, but I guess we're living in a world now where every actor or actress has played some well-known character in some well-known thing where it's hard to see them outside of that. But it was the black dude, it was Brian Henry, and then it was I cannot remember their names, but it was 11 from Stranger Things, and Fire Fist, I think was his name, and Deadpool 2, the kid that was throwing the fire. The kid that God damn, I'm blanking on names. The kid Deadpool was protecting the whole movie. Yeah, he was there too. But they didn't, like I said, they didn't really have a whole lot of effect on the plot. But then they were in this computer room that they had fallen into accidentally, and they were trying to figure out a way to stop Mechagodzilla, because for some reason this confused me too. Like people were like, "Oh man, Godzilla has to win this fight, or the world will come to an end." And it's like, but how though? Like the rich dude who built this, he built it to stop Godzilla because he felt like Godzilla was going to end the world. So honestly, like I wouldn't maybe root for him, but at the same time, it's not like if Godzilla dies and the world's over. Like, so yeah, I don't get why they were rooting for Godzilla, but I mean, especially when y'all spent the whole movie making him look like the villain, and also you watched him beat the shit out of Kong. Yeah, I don't really get why they were rooting against the Mechagodzilla. But it's just he had an evil design, so I guess it's clear to see that he was the bad guy in all of this. Yeah, but yeah, Mechagodzilla was beating the shit out of Godzilla. But eventually, like I said, the little group, the three people, they found a way into this computer room, and they managed to not hack them, but they were trying to hack into the system because, and I forgot about this. The minute Rich Dude and his Asian sidekick activated Mechagodzilla, he killed Rich Dude and he electrified Asian sidekick. So both of them were dead. So at this point, I have no idea who's controlling Mechagodzilla. I don't know. He was just doing his own thing. I don't know, like, what's there programming? And the programming said kill, because it wouldn't make any sense for him to have programming, because he was supposed to be remotely controlled. That'd be like if your remote was set to just change channels without you being around. Like, why would it have that feature? When would I ever need my remote to change channels when I'm not around? So he couldn't have had like programming installed into him, because he was never like meant to just a robot to act on his own. He was supposed to be remotely controlled. So I don't get it. I don't get that part, and I don't really think they explained it. It's just like, oh well, the robot's gone rogue now, and it was like he's connected to a satellite, and I'm like, but how though? The satellite's controlling him now? Because if there's no human, then I don't know. I don't know. I know I got to get off of that, because if I stay on that, then that's gonna piss me off royally. Yeah. Eventually, they managed to spill some liquid on the keyboard that they were trying to hack, and that like glitches them for like a second, and that gives King Kong the upper hand, because King Kong came over to help, because I forgot to say this too. Like Godzilla laid out King Kong, and then Godzilla was getting his ass whooped by Mechagodzilla. But then some of the humans that were transporting King Kong throughout the whole movie, found a way to revive him. Like hit him with some of those hospital things, some stabilizers, where they be like, shh, cleared. Shh. They basically did that to him, but on a bigger scale. And so he got back up and he got back in the fight, because they told him, they were like, hey, look, Godzilla's not our enemy. The robotic Godzilla's our enemy. That's what the kid, the deaf kid with the sign language, she told him that with the sign language. He was like, oh, okay, bet. I'll get over there and I'll do what I got to do. So right when Mechagodzilla was finna end Godzilla, King Kong jumped in. So then, flash forward to the glitch part. They managed to glitch him for like a second, and that gave them the upper hand to overpower Mechagodzilla. And then they ended up winning. And then regular Godzilla and King Kong kind of look at each other. And then Godzilla just swims off. And that was pretty much the end of the movie. There was no like after credit thing or anything. And I just thought to myself, I did really enjoy this movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. But I thought to myself, like, this is a part of a connected universe. How are they? I don't really see a sequel being made. Like, I don't get how they're gonna carry it to the next movie. I don't really understand how that's gonna work. Like they're straight up baffled. Like, is King Kong and Godzilla gonna get together to fight another foe? I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up the Kongzilla talk for this episode, for this part of the segment of the show. So I mean, next we're gonna talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Time to talk about everybody's favorite topic, the topic we always end this show with. It's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're gonna be talking about episode 3, Power Broker. This is episode 3. Spoiler warnings. Spoiler warning. Spoiler alert for episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, we are officially with this episode. We are officially halfway done with this series. Yes, I said halfway. This is only 6 episodes. That's 3 less than WandaVision. We are halfway done, and I got to say, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best episode so far. Phenomenal episode. I mean, I don't even know where to start, for real. It was so fucking good, bro. Let's start with the fact that Baron Zemo's back. Baron Zemo's back, and goddamn was he good. He was super fucking good. He even maybe showed a hint of sadness. Maybe he feels bad for what he did. I mean, it's kind of like I mean, he still believes in what he did. He don't think he did the wrong thing, but maybe he fucked some people over, and maybe he didn't mean to. I don't know. That could be just him playing games. So I mean, it's Baron Zemo, my nigga. So I don't know. I just know he was damn good at it, and I was fairly impressed with his performance. You got to see a lot of them, but you got to see, more importantly, you got to see who I think maybe the villain of. I don't know. I don't know who the villain is. It's gotta be. I mean, because right now it's between the villain of the show is right now it's between Flag Smashers, Ben Zemo, New Captain America, or the Power Broker. And I don't know, but I guess we didn't really know who the actual villain. Well, I guess it wasn't no actual villain of WandaVision. I mean, you could say Agatha, but it's like, was she though? Was she though? I mean, she wasn't even trying to stop what Wanda was doing. She just wanted a little piece of that shit. She just wanted a little taste. She just wanted to understand more of how Wanda was able to do all the shit she was doing. So I don't even know if I could call her a villain. Antagonist, maybe? But I don't know if she was ever against them until the end when they were actually fighting. But anyway, the point is, I don't know who the villain of the show is yet. But I will say, the Flag Smashers, at least after this, and at least the leader after this, may be trying to take that top spot. Because there was a lot going on in this episode. A lot. But Kerry Morgenthau, the leader of the Flag Smashers, from what we can see, there's a scene where they steal some supplies from like a military base or something, and they got all the soldiers tied up and stuff, and the soldiers are like, "You filthy Flag Smashers, y'all ain't shit." And then they were just like, "Bro, y'all had 6 months of supplies just sitting in a warehouse, like helping nobody. It could be out helping the world, so we taking it." And I thought to myself, they could have probably They could have killed them, but they let them live. So maybe these Flag Smashers aren't all that bad. But then the leader blew up the building with the people still in it, and some of those people weren't even soldiers; they were just innocent people. And even the guy that was in the car with her was like, "Man, it was people in that building." And she's like, "Man, this is the only language these motherfuckers understand." She ain't say motherfuckers, but I mean, you get the point. I don't even know who she was talking about when she said this is the only language they understand. I don't even know who she was talking about. But they did have you do get to see more of the Flag Smash. There is a scene where apparently somebody who's like a mother to Morgan, I said Morgenthau, I think is how it's pronounced. Carla, I'll just call her Carla. The leader. I'm just calling her the leader. The leader of the Flag Smash. Apparently somebody that's like a mother to her is dying. She got some kind of disease, and it ain't looking too good for her. So you get to see her dealing with that. And you get to see her. She has this cool conversation with, I guess, her right hand man, maybe even her brother. I don't know, about how you can't believe things went this way, and she always thought she'd be a teacher or something one day. And then they start talking about how, look, we didn't do this. This was done to us. When after the snap and everybody came, well, not after the snap. Well, after everybody came back from the blip, and they apparently they got kicked out of their homes. That's what she said. They got kicked out of their homes, and it was like she needed some way to protect her people, so she took the super serum, and she just remember it being like she was terrified. That's what she says to the guy. She was like, "You remember taking the serum? Wasn't it terrifying?" She felt like her. I think she said she felt like her veins were on fire. But you just get a little bit more backstory on them, and that's why it's like they may be more human than you were giving them credit for. But this was before she blew up that building with those people in it, so maybe she's not so nice after all, and I was just fooled. But yeah, I mean it's dope though. There was so much going on in this episode, bro. I mean they introduced Zemo and Sharon Carter in the same episode, and the episode just went, bro. It didn't really. There wasn't really a whole lot of. I mean, there was definitely dialogue and there was definitely exposition, but it was just going, bro. Like, I mean, from the moment they broke Zemo out of jail, well, I guess they didn't break Zemo out of jail. Winter Soldier kind of, well, Bucky, kind of like he kind of did like one thing, and that one thing was enough for a bunch of other things to go right to get Baron Zemo out. Well, he didn't even really break out. He kind of just walked out that bitch, like for real, for real. So, well, but once he's out, the show is just like they just start flying. There's a couple dope scenes where you get to see Baron Zemo really got that. But you I don't know. There's some weird. I mean, of course Zemo has some kind of ulterior motive because what incentive does he have to? Because they go and get Zemo. They're like, look, there's some new super soldiers out there. We know you know about this shit, bro, because you hate super soldiers. So help us find them. And he's like, all right, I'll help you. Why though? Like, what is Zemo getting out of this? I don't know. I know he gonna fuck up my boy. I know he gonna fuck my boys over. I just I don't know. Because there's a scene right where they go and talk to this lady, and she's like, I know what the serum. I know who's making the serum, and I know where he at. So she gives up the information, and immediately when she's giving up the information, Sam gets a phone call. His sister calls him, and then the lady they talking to is like, the conversation don't go well. The lady's like, kill them all. That dude's not the dude he said he was. Kill them all. And so she ends up getting popped. Right when she says that. Somebody sniped her from somewhere. I don't know. I think the show wants you to believe it was Sharon Carter, but I don't think it was. But, she gets sniped, and then they're like, oh shit, she's dead, bro. Now this whole city gonna be on her ass. Because they're in a city called Madripoor, which I don't know anything about, but it looks suspiciously like the city that what's his name? That Hawkeye was in when he was slicing niggas up in Infinity War. Endgame? Endgame. It was Endgame where he was going crazy with the sword. It looked like that city, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It never really does it really ever say what city he was in when he was doing that? But yeah, it looks like that city. So they're like, man, the whole city gonna be on our head now that this lady's dead because she was an important part of the ecosystem in this city. So they're walking down the street and everybody's getting these. It's kind of like it kind of reminds me of in John Wick 3 when he gets excommunicated and everybody's getting the same call. They're like, "Hey, we got money on John Wick head. Bring him in." And everybody's getting the same message at the same time. It kind of reminded me of that. So they're all getting this message, and so people start coming after them. But then like somebody's shooting people from a roof, and Zemo's like, oh man, y'all look like y'all got a guardian angel out this motherfucker. And then Sharon Carter shows up. This is her first time coming into the episode. And she's about to shoot the shit out of Baron Zemo. They're like, no, shoot her, we need him. He helping us find the super serum. And they were like, Carter, what are you doing here? And she's like, man, did y'all forget? Because I stole Captain America's shield in Civil War, bro, I'm a criminal now. Like the America don't. If I go back to America, they're gonna arrest my ass. And it was actually a really funny joke. And then she was like, I stole the shield for Cap. What did she say? Oh yeah, she said I stole the shield for Cap. She looks at Sam and she's like, I stole the wings for you so you can help him out. So you could stop him. And I think that's what she said. Remember when she looks at Bucky and Zemo. It was a cool little joke. But then she takes him back to the crib and she starts explaining shit to him, and they realizing that maybe they in a little too deep. And there's another good point, and it's been a running point throughout this show, and I think it's one of the points they're trying to hit the hardest, is they have what I call the hero conversation. And it's like, Sam asks her, he's like, so what? Like, you don't never want to come back to America? And she's like, but I can't. I'm a criminal now. Like, they're not going to let me. If I step back in America, they're going to arrest my ass. And she was like, you know that hero shit is bullshit, right? Like, you know it's convoluted, bro. It's what's the word she uses? It's like contradictory. You like deep down, like you gave up the shield, so you must know this hero shit is bullshit, bro. You must know. Then Zemo chimed in and is like, he knows it ain't that deep. He knows because she says deep down inside you must really know that this hero shit is bullshit. And Zemo was like, he knows, and it ain't buried that deep. He know how bullshit this is. And so they had that whole. It was a really, 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 really dope scene. But the next scene is Sharon's throwing a party because she's like an illegal art dealer, not arms. She's an illegal art dealer. So she's throwing a party or something, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to help us find this doctor guy that the lady who's dead now, who got sniped, the doctor she told them about." And she's like, "All right, they find him." So she finds him. The next scene, they're in like this cargo area, and it got me thinking. Sharon Carter's a criminal, right? Because in Civil War she stole some shit. She stole some government property and gave it back to some criminals. I get that. But that was 5 years ago, bro. Like, the government really still on her ass about that? Like, the people she stole the shit for both got pardoned. Like, Cap's not a criminal, and Bucky's not a criminal, and Falcon's not a criminal. So, she's still a criminal, though? I don't know about that. And this is after the snap, too, bro. This is after the blip, so you still considered a criminal after that? I don't know. That's kind of... I don't know. Anyway, they get to this... seems like bullshit to me. They get to this shipment yard with all these big shipment containers in it. And the doctor's lab is in one of these shipping containers. And so they eventually find it. And Sharon Carter's like, all right, I'll stay outside and watch. Basically so she can have a really dope fight scene. That's the only reason why she stayed on the outside. So she does. Like, they're in there interrogating the doctor, trying to get all the information they can. Turns out the doctor was he was originally hired by Hydra to recreate the super soldier serum. And Hydra got closed down before he could do it. So then he got recruited by the CIA, and he actually did it. He was able to use the DNA of the black super soldier that was talked about in the last episode. He was able to use his DNA to, like, I don't know the science terms for it, to single out the super serum part so they can recreate it. And he did, but in the process of doing that, he was one of the people that got dusted in the Thanos snap. So when he came back 5 years later, they were like, oh, we don't care about that no more, bro. So your shit's not needed. So then a power broker hired him, because from what I know about the power broker, is his thing is he likes to give people super soldier powers. He likes to make super soldiers, but for money. And the way he goes about it is he'll give you something to make you a super soldier, but he'll give you something to make you a super soldier, but to get the refill, you got to come back to him. So that's how he keeps you dependent. He's a drug dealer. He keeps you dependent on him, so you got to keep coming back to him for your fix. So that's all I know. That's all I know about the power broker. And I'm not diving in anymore to learn, because I'm not, like I said before in previous episodes, I'm not theorying up. I'm not getting all theoried up. I'm not letting them do me like WandaVision did me. No, thank you. But anyway, so the scientist gets hired by the power broker, and he's making serum for the power broker. So the way the story is connected is that Kylie Morgenthau, the leader of Flag Smashers, stole the serum that this doctor made. She stole like 20 vials of it, so she got hella super serum. Her and like 8 of her homies took it, so I guess there's like 12 left. I don't know. I'm not sure what her plan is, but there's like 12 vials of super serum. I think that's how it went. I think he made 20, and 8 of her people took them. She took it. Her right hand man took it, and I'm assuming 6 more people on her team took it, because everybody that's been rolling with him have been super soldiers so far. All the people that was on that those 2 trucks in the fight scene in the first episode, was that the second one? That might have been the second episode. Yeah, that was the second episode. Yeah, all of them were super soldiers. So I don't know if they've taken all the serum or what. I don't know what their plan is. But yeah, so right after that, right after they get all the information they need, Zemo shoots the guy. I'm like, and at this point, I'm like, I think I know one of the things Zemo's up to, but it's never one thing with Zemo, bro. I think because Zemo hates the idea of super soldiers, right? He hates the idea of super powered people. Period. That was some unintentional alliteration, but he hates super powered individuals. He hates them. He don't think there should be any. He's like a Lex Luthor type nigga. I don't think there should be any powered people at all. Fuck that shit. Just humans, man. That's all that matters. Because once people start getting powers, people start putting them on pedestals, and we praise all the things they're good at, and we start forgiving their flaws. And we start forgetting their flaws. He says that in the show. I think he was talking about Cap. He was like, we don't need a bunch of super soldiers walking around, bro. We don't need a bunch of Red Skulls. He said, because once we get super soldiers, like I said, you put them on a platform, blah, 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 blah. And you put them on pedestal, blah, 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 blah. So, I think his plan is to wipe out everybody who knows about the super serum. That's what I think. I think that, or he's trying to become the new power broker. But I don't think that's true, because I don't see the point, because you find out in this episode that Baron Zemo's super rich. I mean, he's a baron though. So like, that's what a baron is a super rich person. Barons are like, I don't know, explain the title of a baron. It's like royalty of some sort. But it's not like a king or a queen or anything. Like, it's in a world where there aren't, not a world, it's in countries where there aren't kings and queens. This is the closest thing they got to royalty, like barons. Yeah, so they're having this super dope fight scene. Sharon Carter's outside having this super dope fight scene while they're getting this information. She fucking busts in. She's like, bro, look, I just took out like 12 niggas. There's more coming, bro. We got to get out of here. So right when she busts in saying that, Benzema shoots the doctor. And they're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, but before they could do anything, somebody shoots a rocket at the damn thing. Like, I told you, bro, this episode just goes, bro. It's like high action as a motherfucker. Yeah, somebody shoots a rocket at the base, explodes that motherfucker. They lose track of Zemo. And you think oh, see, this is part of Zemo's plan. He broke off, he gone, bro. Now they ain't gonna know where to find them. They fucked. So then they're pinned down. They come out the little science lab, and they're pinned down. People are shooting at them from all angles. And Zemo shows up, but with his mask on. And I'll be honest with you, that shit should look stupid as hell. That purple suit he be wearing in the comic books with that damn mask on, it should look dumb as hell. But here it look hard as fuck. He got this dope ass coat on and everything. He looked dope. He actually saves them, and I'm not sure why. But maybe he's like, I need these guys to help me knock off the rest of these niggas who know super soldiers. Maybe that's it. Maybe he wants to like really rid the world of super soldiers. Maybe, I don't know what his motive is, bro. It's super confusing, because they probably would have died there, but they could have. It was a possibility, but he definitely saved them. And then I don't get why he put his mask on to do it. And I'm thinking, is he, because they don't know. At least Bucky and Sam don't know about that mask shit, because he hid it from them. So maybe he did that to hide his identity so they wouldn't know it was him. because when he left, they took off running, and then he like came around the corner and he had like a super dope car. And he picked him up and they drove off. And it was like, oh, I don't like why. I don't get it. Like you had your chance to escape. Like I just want to know what he up to. That's what I want to know. Like more than anything, I want to know what that motherfucker is up to. So then Sharon Carter doesn't go with him. I keep calling her Sharon Carter. Can I just call her Sharon or Carter? I feel like that's not a well enough known name that you're gonna know who I'm talking about. But yeah, Sharon Carter, she's like, I can't go with y'all. I'm not like I told you I can't go back to America, bro. They trying to kill me. Like earlier scene, Sam promised he could get her. What's the word? When the government forgives your crime, pardoned. He could get a pardon. She like, I don't really believe you, bro, but whatever. Give me the pardon and then we could talk. So they leave her. They go to some other place, which I'm not really sure because Baron Simo's like, look, I know where we'll go next. And then they go to that place. But while they're walking down the street, Bucky can sense something is off. And so before they go in the building, Bucky's like, all right, I'm finna go for a walk, bro. Y'all go ahead. They're like, you good, bro? He's like, yeah, I'm going ahead. But meanwhile, I forgot to say this, though, before I get to this, because this is like one of the final scenes. Meanwhile, New Cap, John Walker, and his sidekick, I can't remember, Battlestar, I think is his hero name? I don't remember. They're going around hitting up bases that the leader of the Flag Smashers has been at. They're going around hitting bases, and they're like, we don't know where's the Flag Smashers at? Like, we trying to bring him down, but his homeboy's telling him, it's like, bro, these people are aiding villages, like, well, they're aiding like small towns and shit. Like, people are gonna be loyal to them. We're not gonna find them like this. And so then John Walker's like, you know what? I know how we'll find them. We'll track somebody else who has more information than us. And then you could tell he's probably thinking of Bucky and Sam. So then John Walker goes to the prison where Zemo was. And they're like, yeah, Zemo broke out, bro. And they're like, so Zemo broke out right after Bucky and Sam were here? They're like, yeah, but like, that is hella, you right, that is hella suspicious. Like, what the fuck? That's what the prison guard's like. He's like, that is hella suspicious, bro. What the fuck? And then his homeboy's like, you really think that they would bust Baron Zemo out of you? Like, you really think they own that shit? And he was like, bro, they as desperate as we are to figure this shit out. I think they do it. And so Baron's like, I mean, not Baron. His homeboy is like, I think his name is Battlestar. I think it was Battlestar. He's like, bro, what are we gonna do? He was like, man, we gonna go off the grid. John was like, we gonna go off the grid, bro. We're like, we gotta get this done, and we gotta do some stuff like the hometown boys wouldn't like. And so Battlestar's like, so we just off the books now. We just rogue now. We rogue motherfuckers. And then John Walker says an interesting thing that I thought was pretty cool because it kind of like harkens back to some older shit in the MCU. He says, bro, do you really think they'll care how we get the job done once we get it done? And Battlestar's like, I guess not. But when you really think about it, that's what Civil War was all. That was what part of Civil War was about. It's like, yeah, we glad you got the job done, but now we care how you get the job done. Like, now we give a shit. You can't just do whatever you want just to get the job done. That's what the Soviet Accords was. It's like, y'all be getting the job done, but y'all be fucking up, bro. Like, you be cooking a dope ass meal, but you be leaving the kitchen a mess, my nigga. And you gotta start cleaning the kitchen up. Like, ain't nobody finna clean it up for you. So yeah, he said, I thought that was kind of a cool line because he's like, you think they really gonna care how we got it done once we get it done? That's all they're gonna care about is results. And I'm like, I don't know, Walker. I don't know where you was while Civil War was happening, bro, but that was a pretty big deal, bro. It was one of the reasons the Avengers broke up. So that was just to show you that Walker and his homeboy are they're trying to catch up to Sam and Bucky. But the final scene, which is just an amazing scene. Like I said, Bucky told them, hey, I'm finna go for a walk. Yeah, go ahead. And he finds one of the small little beads, the black beads that look very similar. And I can't I can't remember exactly because it's been a while since I've seen it. But one of those little black beads that the Black Panther was using at the beginning of his movie he jumped out of the ship and he was falling down in the middle of the jungle and he threw those beads to deactivate the trucks. It looks surprisingly a lot like that. He found one, and then I don't know, it kind of led him to a second one, and then I think he found a third one, but he ended up in his alley, and he knew what this was. I mean, he spent like 2-3 years in Wakanda. He knew what the deal was. He spent like 2 or 3 years in Wakanda. He knew what the deal was. He's looking around. He's like, where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? I knew they was gonna come eventually because they had a conversation earlier. Him and Sam had a conversation. And it's like, bro, you can't, because when he was explaining to him, hey, bro, we need to break Baron Zemo out of jail. He's like, bro, we can't break. He's like the biggest criminal in the entire world, bro. He blew up a U.S. embassy, not a U.S. embassy. He blew up like a, what's it called with a whole, where multiple countries come together? A UN embassy. He blew up a UN embassy, bro. He killed the king of Wakanda. Like, he's like the biggest criminal in the world, but we cannot break him out of jail. That's dumb. But by that point, Bucky had already came up with a plan to bust him out of jail anyway, so he gives a shit. So which was great foreshadowing because then a lady who shows up, and I'm pretty sure if you remember Civil War, MCU, you're not gonna pull a wool over my eyes because I be watching. I'm pretty sure that was the same lady that when what's his name? When T'Challa was walking to his car and he was walking with one lady, or maybe there was two ladies with him, and Black Widow was in the way, and she told Black Widow, she was like, you better move before I move you. She said something like that. You better move before I move you. And Black Panther was like, as entertaining as that would be, we not finna start no fight here. It ain't that big of a deal. I think that was the same lady that pops up here, and she just ninjas her way up on Winter Soldier, or on Bucky. And he's like, I knew you'd be here eventually. And she's like, look, I don't give a fuck. I'm here for Zemo. Where you at? And then it goes off. And then there's no like after credit thing or nothing. It's just like, I'm here for Zemo. And then it was dope. But it's like, I mean, yeah, like you can't keep no secrets from Wakanda. Like, they knew he broke out and they knew they'd find him eventually, but he killed their king. Like, you don't think they're gonna come see about him? Like, they got to, especially now that, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Wakanda now. It's kind of a tough subject. Yeah, I don't know what's going on because the actor that, as you know, the actor that played T'Challa is dead. So, I mean, I don't know what that does to the story of Black Panther 2. So, like I said, I don't know what's going on because the Order of Wakanda also suffered from the Thanos snap. So, who knows what's going on? But yeah, you didn't think they was gonna come back and avenge their king? Like, come on now, like for real. Anyways, it's yeah, that was the end. That was the last part. It was a phenomenal episode. Definitely the best episode so far. I mean, it's only been 3, so I guess that's not saying a whole lot. But it was goddamn good, bro. It really was. Very impressive. I even tweeted twitter.com/deethezo the Great. In case you were wondering. I tweeted that like this episode 3 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man, was that shit was impressive. Now I think I put this shit different from WandaVision, but I mean that in a good way because it's as great as WandaVision, but it's great in way more different ways. Like, this isn't as mysterious as WandaVision was, and they're not planting a whole bunch of seeds like WandaVision was, but the action and the acting and the camaraderie between these two characters and the sense of humor of it all it's just as great as anything WandaVision did. And I said WandaVision, I said that on record. WandaVision was one of the best things the MCU has done so far. And I don't know, depending on how this ends, because I can't really tell where this is going. But depending on what it's in, this may be one of the best things the MCU did too. I mean, I got the utmost like confidence in these shows, bro. Like after WandaVision, like I'm confident. Like I'm confident that the Loki show gonna be hard too, bro. Like it's just, I mean, if anything, when you think about it, the Loki is probably gonna be the best one because he's been his character longer than the rest of these, longer than any of these other ones. He's been, I guess technically, Sebastian played Bucky before Tom Hiddleston was Loki, technically. Because I think Captain America came out before Thor, right? So yeah. So I guess they're equal. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I got the utmost respect for these characters. I mean, for the TV shows. Like I got respect for them, like I got for the movies. Like you'll never hear me doubt a Marvel movie. I don't care what the character is, bro. You'll never hear me doubt a Marvel movie. After what 10, 12 years of them cranking out gold, I mean, to me, they haven't missed the mark since, I don't know, Iron Man 2. To me. And the only thing, I mean, Iron Man 2 was cool. I just think the villain was ass. That whip shit was just, it was corny. And then they ended up fighting him, another dude in a suit. And that's what he did in the first one. It was, yeah, 2 was the last miss for me. I can't think of another one that's not been good since Iron Man 2. I mean, feel free to hit me up. Like I said, Instagram, it's the same thing. These are the great. No underscores, no nothing, just DeeZoTheGreat. These are the great. Yeah, but I think that's it for the show. I think that about wraps it up. I think it was another solid episode. I rambled on for far too long once again, but you know me. By this point, you know that's what I do. That's what I do. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for spending this time with me. I appreciate it. I love y'all. Please, if you're enjoying this podcast so far, go ahead and let somebody know, man. Spread word of mouth. If you're listening to this on a website or an app or a platform is the best word for it. If you're listening to this on a platform where you can rate, please give it a rating. Let me know what you think of it. But if you're not, then don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I'm just happy to have you here with me. I'm just happy to be heard. But yeah, like I said, you can reach me on my social medias though if you want to comment, maybe there's something you want me to talk about. Next episode is gonna be more Winter Soldier, more Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think I'm gonna get into Invincible, so there may be some Invincible talk, maybe. Not sure. I don't want to promise y'all that, but I know y'all probably upset that we didn't cover Snowfall this episode. But I just figured there was so much that we'll just do Snowfall next time. It's not like Snowfall's breaking the bank. Like, and look, I enjoy Snowfall as hell, but I just think the release of Godzilla versus Kong and Winter Soldier was just a little bit bigger. So I had to make sure I got those out the way. But yeah, we'll be back for more Snowfall next week. Keep in mind that after this is episode 4, so after episode 5 of the podcast, I'm going to be trying to do a new thing. It's going to be a bonus episode. You can still listen to it here, the same place you listen to this. You can still listen to that. But I'm going to be doing like a little game. I'm going to be trying to do a little podcast game show, which I don't think has ever been done before. Not that I know of. So maybe originator on this. If it has been done, then, send it to me. Let me say, hey, man, you ain't come up with this. This person did it before you. So I can be an asshole and go, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. You got me on that one. But hey, until then, thank y'all for stopping by, man. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. This has been episode 4 of the Whatever I Find Entertaining podcast. I'm your host, deezo. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.